Hello there, very good evening. Welcome to another edition of Primetime News on TV1. I'm Charlotte Benedict for the News First team, and with me is my co-anchor, Mariam Gunavijaya. Good evening, Mariam.
Good evening, Charlotte, and good evening to all our viewers. Before we head on to our stories in detail, here's a look at your top stories for tonight.
Indian Defence Minister to visit Sri Lanka over the weekend. Request to delay the visit of the Chinese research vessel. Domestic debt optimization program will not be changed, says State Minister of Finance. Lawyers launch joint program to protect the rule of law.
විනිශ්චයකාරවරුන්ට හැකියාවක් නැහැ මේ පිළිබඳව කතා කරන්න. ඒ නිසා තමයි නීතිඥ වෘත්තිය බැඳිලා සිටින්නේ මේ අධිකරණයේ ස්වාධීනත්වය වෙනුවෙන් කැප වෙලා වැඩ කරන්නේ.
අද තිබෙන තත්ත්වය තමයි පනතක් හැර වෙන ඕනෑම පාර්ලිමේන්තු යෝජනාවක් වැනි දෙයක් පුළුවන් විමර්ශනයට ලක් කරන්න පුළුවන්.
Interim compensation for Express Pearl disaster. Leave aside meaningless statements and political drama and solve the issues of the people, says the Catholic Bishop Conference. Asia Cup to begin tomorrow. Sri Lanka contingent named.
Starting off with your top story tonight, Indian media reported today that while Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is scheduled to visit Sri Lanka this weekend, a request has been made to postpone the visit of the Chinese research and survey vessel Xiang-6 to Sri Lanka.
Now, the Hindustan Times revealed that the request was made for the visit to be scheduled after President Ranil Wickremesinghe visits China in October.
The Indian Defence Minister, who is scheduled to arrive in Sri Lanka this weekend for a two-day visit, has also planned to visit Trincomalee. The Hindu reported that during this visit, Singh is scheduled to meet and hold discussions with the President and Chief of Staff of the President, Sagala Ratnayaka. The technologically advanced Chinese research vessel Xiang-6 is scheduled to arrive in Sri Lanka on the 25th of October, and approval has been granted for this visit. The Chinese ship will remain in the sea of Sri Lanka for 17 days and conduct its research activities with the National Aquatic Resources Research and Development Agency, or NARA. Since 2017, 17 Chinese research vessels have arrived in Sri Lanka, and India has also paid close attention to the visit of the Xiang-6 vessel to Sri Lanka and have informed Sri Lanka in this regard from the highest diplomatic level. Today, the Hindustan Times reported that a request has been made to postpone the Chinese research vessel's visit to Sri Lanka until the conclusion of President Ranil Wickremesinghe's visit to China in October. According to the report, President Ranil Wickremesinghe is scheduled to participate in the One Belt One Road conference to be held in Beijing, China in mid-October. Journalists inquired from the cabinet spokesperson about these developments at today's cabinet media briefing.
ආරක්ෂක අමාත්‍යවරයාගේ මේ මෙරට සංචාරයේ අරමුණ මොකක්ද කියන එක කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයට දැනුම් දීමක් වුණාද?
නෑ එහෙම දැනුම් දීමක් වුණේ නැහැ.
විවිධ රාජ්‍යවල විවිධ පාර්ශ්වයන් මේ රටට නීතිපතා
We were not informed of anything of that sort. Various parties visit states regularly. For instance, the Speaker and two former speakers from Kagoshima Prefecture in Japan came to Sri Lanka for a graduation ceremony. I was also present at the event. In the same manner, speakers, ministers of defence, ministers of finance and ministers of foreign affairs visit countries all the time and hold discussions. Those are all diplomatic activities.
කරුණු සාකච්ඡා කරනවා. ඉතින් ඒව රාජ්‍යතාන්ත්‍රික කටයුතු.
Xiang-6 කියන මේ චීන පරීක්ෂණ නෞකාව සම්බන්ධයෙන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා රජයේ දතු තීරණය මොකක්ද?
ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් විදේශ කටයුතු අමාත්‍යාංශයත් රාජ්‍ය ආරක්ෂක අමාත්‍යාංශයත් අවශ්‍ය.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Defence have made the necessary explanations in this regard. Under the non-aligned policy, the government has given assurances that nothing will be done to threaten any country or institution while making decisions regarding these maritime affairs. Therefore, the government works under the policy of engaging in friendly, economic, social, political and cultural transactions with all neighbouring countries.
ප්‍රතිපත්තිය තුළ තමයි රජය කටයුතු කරන්නේ.
The movement of the People's Struggle also expressed views about the Indian Defence Minister's visit to Sri Lanka at a press conference held today.
පෞද්ගලික කාලේ ඩොලර් බිලියන 3.9ක ණය මුදලක් දුන්නා ලංකාවට ඉන්දියාව ගිය අවුරුද්දේ ආර්ථික අර්බුදයේ ඉන්න වෙලාවේ ඒ මුදල.
Why is the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh coming to Sri Lanka? He gave a loan of $3 billion to Sri Lanka last year when we were going through an economic crisis. In relation to the $3.9 billion given at the time of the economic crisis, Rajnath Singh is coming on the 2nd to collect that money and to loot the land and the lives of the people. The other day, President Ranil Wickremesinghe convened the development meeting in Trincomalee and gave a very nice speech. In that speech, he says to relax the rules of using land. Also that land should be used in a way that it can be used for development. They say that Mahaveli land should also be used. While saying that, he says that this is not only related to Trincomalee, but it should also be taken to Ampara, Panama. From there, we need to take this plan to Kumana. Now it is very clear that while handing over to India to develop Trincomalee as an economic development zone, they are bringing the Subana Jurong company and handing over the lands in the North Central province and the lands in the Eastern province.
සුබානා ජුරෝන් සමාගම ගෙනල්ලා දැන් මෙන්න උතුරු මැද පළාතේ තියෙන ඉඩම් ටික ඒ වගේ මෙතනින් එහාට ගිහිල්ලා නැගෙනහිර පළාතේ තියෙන ඉඩම් ටික මේ සියල්ලම කොල්ල කන තැනට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා.
Freedom People's Congress parliamentarian Professor Charita Herath said that the current foreign policy of Sri Lanka is shaped in such a way that there is a significant risk of Sri Lanka turning into South Asia's Ukraine.
මේ ආණ්ඩුවේ විදේශ ප්‍රතිපත්තිය රටට ගැලපෙන්නේ රට දකුණු ආසියාවේ යුක්‍රේන.
The foreign policy of this government is not suited for this country. There is a risk of our country turning into South Asia's Ukraine if they continue in this manner. By staying in the middle of India and China, we are following a very dangerous policy. They are playing with the country's internal constitutional changes and the structural changes in our governance system. The governance is using the 13th Amendment to brainwash people as an election scam. I saw there was a tense situation in Trincomalee yesterday. The week before, the president went to Trincomalee and said that the project has been given to an Indian company to draw up development plans and that we will have to stick to that. The president said we can't build houses, temples or covils wherever we want. This government is using the constitution to play with the election.
ගොඩක් කතා කිව්වා. එතකොට මේ ආණ්ඩුව විවස්ථාව සම්බන්ධව කරන්නේ ඡන්ද සෙල්ලම.
Minister Prasanna Ranatunga made this statement following the Gampaha District Development Committee meeting.
There are some people who create crises in the country while staying at the background. Now they have already started to create disputes between religions. This is the agenda of the opposition. We are receiving support from India, and Prime Minister Modi is a Hindu. If such a dispute occurs, some people believe that it will have an effect in the country. There are groups of people attempting to create such religious disputes. I think we should be very smart with regard to our approach on this matter. If this matter is dealt with intelligently, I think we can overcome these challenges.
A delegation of the International Monetary Fund is scheduled to visit Sri Lanka on the 14th of September to review the progress made by Sri Lanka before the release of the second tranche of the extended fund facility of $2.9 billion to the country. Now, the delegation will remain in the country until the 27th of September.
There are a number of conditions that need to be fulfilled according to the agreement made in relation to the extended fund facility of $2.9 billion provided by the International Monetary Fund. The latest data released by Verite Research revealed that Sri Lanka had completed only 35% of this by the end of July. 43% was in the process of being completed. According to the agreement made with the International Monetary Fund, a debt restructuring plan must be implemented. Under this debt restructuring plan, a domestic debt optimization program has now been announced. It has been proposed to optimize the loans given to the government by means of treasury bonds, including employee pension funds and employee trust funds, but they are to be reissued as new bonds. It has been announced that 12% will be given as interest for new bonds until 2025 and 9% thereafter. According to this process, new bonds were to be issued yesterday. However, it was postponed. The reason for this was that the Inland Revenue Amendment Bill, which includes laws to impose 30% graft on funds that do not agree to the process, was challenged before the Supreme Court. The hearing of the related petitions was concluded yesterday, and the Supreme Court's decision might be announced when the Parliament convenes next week. However, State Minister of Finance Shahan Semasinghe emphasized today that the domestic debt optimization process will be carried out without any changes as approved by the Parliament.
We know that a very small group of people is attempting to jeopardize this domestic debt optimization program with a political agenda in mind. This very small group of people try to execute their plans in Parliament. We are very disappointed that this group of people are parliamentarians who are supposed to rebuild the country. They are attempting to destroy the economy of 22 million citizens. We must say with responsibility that the domestic debt optimization program will be carried out successfully as approved by the Parliament. Discussions with bilateral creditors are being carried out successfully. It is the aim of the government to conclude both these programs with a positive outcome. The government is dedicated to ensure this.
Meanwhile, trade unions and mass organizations are protesting jointly and pointing out that it is not reasonable to take measures only in relation to employee funds in the domestic debt optimization program. They also presented facts about this situation before the court and held protests, discussions and conferences to create awareness. A joint protest was held in Colombo yesterday as well. Although the central bank granted a discussion, the parties that were engaged in the protest refused it. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka issued a statement and pointed out that the opportunity was missed to explain the process of domestic debt optimization, how the current balance of the members of the Employee Provident Fund will be secured, and how the benefits given in the past years will be provided through domestic debt optimization in the next few years. This was the response of the Joint Trade Union Collective.
More than 40 organizations were involved in that protest yesterday. It is unfair to give 5 people a chance. That is not enough. Therefore, we said that this number should be increased. When we said that the number should be increased, the central bank governor got scared and refused to give that opportunity.
Meanwhile, a joint conference was held in Colombo today under the theme The Executive, Democracy and Judiciary. Senior lawyers and civil activists were among those who participated in the event.
We recently saw that the executive was influencing the judiciary. The judiciary has no power regarding fiscal matters such as debt restructuring. The executive is spreading the idea of reviewing such matters. Recently, the President expressed his views in a meeting of the Coconut Growers Association, but we think his opinion is wrong. We also saw the Speaker making a similar statement. The court has no power to inquire about proposals that have been approved by the Cabinet. Once it is approved in Parliament, no other institution can question it. It is completely wrong according to the law. The current situation is that any parliamentary resolution other than a bill can be subjected to scrutiny.
තමයි පනතක් හැර වෙන ඕනෑම පාර්ලිමේන්තු යෝජනාවක් වැනි දෙයක් පුළුවන් විමර්ශනයට.
We see this as a direct influence or threat leveled by the President against the judiciary. The legal professionals must be aware of this situation. Judges cannot speak about these matters. Judges cannot hold media briefings or issue public statements. That is why the legal profession is bound to work for the judiciary. Historically, the legal profession has done that. Independence of the judiciary is very important to all of us. This is not only the independence of the Supreme Court. If the judiciary loses its independence, it will affect all citizens of the country. We request our fellow attorneys and inform them that the time has come to confront the government about these issues and to inform the public about them.
ඒකේ බලපෑම වෙන්නේ මේ රටේ ඉන්න හැම පුරවැසියෙක්ටම. අපි ඉල්ලා සිටින අපේ සහෝදර නීතිඥයන්ගෙන් මේ පිළිබඳව අපි කටයුතු කරන්න වෙලාව ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ පිළිබඳව රජයට බලපෑම් කරන්න, මේ පිළිබඳව ප්‍රජාව දැනුවත් කරන්න වෙලාව.
Speaking at a conference in Colombo today, Executive Director of Verite Research, Dr. Nishan Dimel, pointed out that if the quality of governance in Sri Lanka is not developed, we will have to go through more domestic debt restructuring programs in the future.
ලෝක බැංකුවෙන් හදනවා රටේ ආණ්ඩු කරන නැත්නම් පරිපාලනයේ ගුණාත්මක.
The World Bank prepares an index to measure the quality of governance or administration of a country. You can be positive 2.5 or negative 2.5. There are 6 aspects that are measured. If you look at the median of these 6 aspects, it is indicated by the black line. Below it are the countries below minus 0.1 and the countries above it have a rating above 0.1. Every country that has restructured their debt twice or thrice all have a rating below minus 0.1. Every other country above minus 0.1 restructured their debt only once and was saved, except for Grenada and Belize. But if you look at these 2 countries, the quality of administration of Belize had dropped a year after their debt was restructured. After that drop, they restructured their debt 4 times. Sri Lanka is at a very important point on this index. We are just a little below 0.1. If we increase the quality of our administration, we can save ourselves in the first go. If this value reduces, we might have restructured our debt more than once. That is what these figures show us. Today a plan has been presented to us together with the IMF, but the analytical base of that plan is very weak. While implementing this core plan, several matters that are not implemented as part of it are also important for the welfare of the people. But these things that are not being implemented have been hidden from us.
සාධයකට හැබැයි ඒ ඉටු කරන දේවල්ුත් අපිට නොපෙනෙන විදියට හංගවලා තියෙනවා.
Sri Lanka is in the process of receiving the multiple disbursements of $2.9 billion from the International Monetary Fund. And for that, a number of goals have to be met.
The compensation that our country should have recovered from the Express Pearl disaster that caused serious maritime damages is several times this amount provided by the International Monetary Fund. Experts point out that more than $6 billion should have been demanded as compensation for the Express Pearl disaster. But have we taken the necessary steps to recover this compensation?
A case is now being heard in Singapore to recover compensation for the Express Pearl maritime disaster. However, the allegation made was the shipping company had already taken the necessary legal action to limit this compensation. The Attorney General's department says today that this process is still ongoing and Sri Lanka has expressed its agreement to receive an interim compensation. The department says that the Marine Environment Protection Authority has demanded an amount of $89 million and 16 million rupees. The two parties have reached an agreement regarding this interim compensation in relation to the decision taken in the negotiations held recently in Singapore. Meanwhile, in a press conference held today, President's Counsel Upul Jayasuriya says that there is very little opportunity for the government of Sri Lanka to receive the compensation for the Express Pearl ship.
London wala Wales hi තිය මහාධිකරණයේ අඩ්මිරාල්තිය වලය ඇති මහාධිකරණ විසින් නිවේදනයක් නිකුත් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ නිවේදනය
The High Court of Wales in London has issued an announcement under which the concerned parties have been asked to submit applications until the 3rd of January 2024.
මේ නිවේදනය යටතේ සම්පූර්ණ මුදල සීමා කරලා තියෙනවා UK sterling pounds 19,990,325 cents. ඒ කියන්නේ පාර්ශව 8ක් පමණ දැන්
The total amount under this notice is capped at approximately 19,990,325.55 sterling pounds, meaning 8 parties have come forward so far. Among these 8 parties, I don't see that the government of Sri Lanka has been considered a party. As a country, we were late to make a request in this regard. We were unable to submit this request until the very end of the time period of 2 years that was given. We have already started court proceedings in Sri Lanka. We hope it brings some relief. However, under this case, it appears that the Sri Lankan government has very little chance of getting the amount due.
ලැබිය යුතු මුදල ලබා ගැනීමට ඇති අවකාශය ඉතාමත් අල්ප බව පෙනී යනවා.
Do you remember? It has been 2 years since the Express Pearl caught fire and sank in the sea of Sri Lanka.
News first with the people.
Ladies College presents a musical phenomenon, SOSL Pops, a performance by the Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka, conducted by Nishanta Varnakulasuriya, September 2nd and 3rd at the Ladies College Hall, featuring the Ladies College Senior and OGA choirs, with guest soloists Crisanta De Silva, Dinushka Jayavikrama, and Melanie Bibile. Tickets available in the school hall foyer. Media sponsor Yes 101, Legends 966 and TV1.
Welcome back to the news. The Catholic Bishops' Conference says that it is earnestly requesting the authorities to consider the plight of the people and leave aside political dramas. While releasing a statement, the bishops say that if the government continues to act in this manner, the poor and oppressed people will only be able to maintain their lives by meeting their basic needs.
The Catholic Bishops' Conference gathered for a plenary session and issued a statement pointing out that the ever-increasing unsustainable cost of living has severely affected the people. The announcement states that many parents have found it difficult to feed their children daily and many families are struggling to survive at one meal a day. The announcement went on to point out that most hospitals have failed to fulfill the medical needs of the people and the health sector is currently undergoing a severe medical shortage. The Catholic Bishops' Conference pointed out that due to the increase in the migration of skilled professionals and the shortage of medicine and medical equipment in state hospitals, the general public is subjected to significant distress. The issues in the education system was also highlighted by the bishop, who said that the lack of sufficient clothes, nutrition and school equipment has had a severe effect on the children's education. The bishop further says that the rule of law has seriously broken down with increasing acts of violence across the country, and the government does not seem to have a clear vision to meet the urgent needs of the people.
The State Pharmaceuticals Corporation has not yet received the report from the Ministry of Health regarding the prednisone eye drops imported from India, which was confirmed to contain poisonous substances.
Upon receiving the report, the State Pharmaceutical Corporation will act against the Indian company that produced the drug as instructed by the Attorney General.
In April, a concerning situation arose regarding the prednisolone eye liquid produced by an Indian company in Gujarat, India. More than 18 patients who underwent eye surgery at the National Eye Hospital and Noor General Hospital suffered complications. Within a few weeks, the presence of germs in the medicine was confirmed after a test conducted by the NMRA's Quality Assurance Laboratory. P.A. Nandasena is one of the patients who is suffering from the complications that are suspected to have arisen from the administration of this medicine. News First had previously reported on his condition. Nandasena's condition, who underwent cataract surgery on April 4th, has now worsened. Day by day, it looks like a big spider's web floating in the eyes. After that, when I asked the doctor, he said to practice a little because wherever you go, you bump into the habit of seeing that eye. All the 18 people that were brought that day, we were offered tea. Even today, when we ask them for an answer from the Ministry of Health, they don't have a proper answer. It's like they pass the ball to each other. In response to our inquiry, the chairman of the National Drug Regulatory Authority, Professor S.D. Jayaratna, says that his institution has already taken the necessary steps regarding the prednisolone eye liquid in question. He further says that the State Pharmaceutical Corporation should take action against the company. Upon inquiry, the SPC says that legal action cannot be taken against the company until the report of the investigation conducted by the Ministry of Health in this regard is received. However, the NMRA has notified the Indian company that the drug in question is substandard, and the SPC has demanded the amount spent on the drug and a 25% surcharge due to its withdrawal.
Meanwhile, the opposition, including the Samagijana Balabega, have already presented a no-confidence motion against Health Minister Keheliya Ramukwella, and it is scheduled to be debated in Parliament next week. What happens after the debate on the 6th and 7th of September? The Podujana Peramuna, which holds the majority of the ruling party, says that the party will fully support Minister Keheliya Ramukwella.
Nothing has been revealed regarding the fact that Minister Keheliya Ramukwella should be held accountable for anything. So we as a party are in a very firm decision. We stand for Minister Keheliya Ramukwella. There is no problem as a party.
එතකොට මේ ජීවිතවලට වැත්තටම වග කියන්නේ කවුද?
සෞඛ්‍ය ඇමතිවරයා විසින් තත්වයෙන් බාල බෙහෙත් ද්‍රව්‍ය ගෙන්වීම මත මේ දේ වුණා කියන.
It has not been confirmed that this happened due to the importation of substandard medicines by the Minister of Health. Now, when a critical patient is hospitalized, sometimes the doctor knows that this patient is in a critical condition and it is difficult to cure this patient, but the doctor gives some kind of treatment, some kind of injection as a last attempt. In the event that a patient dies under such circumstances, an interpretation can be made that the person died because of this medicine.
අර්ථ නිරූපණයක් අර්ථකථනයක් කරන්න පුළුවන් මේ බෙහෙත් නිසා මිය ගියා කියලා.
These were the views expressed by parliamentarian of the Samagijana Balawega, S.M. Marikar.
දැන් ජනාධිපති වරයා නියෝගයක් දීලා තියෙන ඒගොල්ලෝ මන් දැක කොහෙද දාලා තියෙනවා.
I saw that the president has given an order that the members of the ruling party are prohibited from leaving the country in the first week of next month. Why is that? Because of the no confidence vote against the health minister. Then we can see next week as to who will help the people of this country die. We can see who will be joining forces with the drug mafia. So don't betray the public. Don't betray the people who voted for you. Under the money of the drug mafia, don't betray the lives of the people of this country. We don't need such a health minister. We don't need a minister who says that it's normal for patients to die, and that is why there are funeral parlors opposite hospitals. If you are loyal to such a health minister, you are only making way for the people of this country to get substandard medicine.
මේ රටේ ජනතාවට බාල බෙහෙත් පොවන්න උදව් කරන කෙනෙක් වෙනවා.
The cabinet has given the green light to import 92.1 million eggs from India within the next 3 months. Cabinet spokesperson said that tenders have been called from 3 Indian companies for this purpose. This is according to the government's practice of providing eggs at subsidized prices to provide relief to the consumers until the local poultry industry and farm situation is restored, so that there will be no shortage in the next 3 months.
A media briefing on Sirasa TV's 5 million money drop program was held at Studio RR at Stein Studios yesterday.
The 5 million money drop.
The 5 million money drop program, produced by the Banijay multinational television production company together with Stein Studios, will be airing on Sirasa TV from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. This time, the program includes even more entertaining aspects.
We have developed the entertainment aspect of this program a lot. The competitors who come here will dance and sing. We have changed the concept in this as well. The concept will be couples. There will be various couples attending the program, and this format will continue in season 2 as well. 7 questions for 5 million rupees.
Season 2 එකෙත් ඒ format එකමයි තියෙන්නේ. ප්‍රශ්න 7යි මිලියන 5යි.
The hotline 7788 continues to remain open for you to join the 5 million money drop. This program that has captured the hearts and minds of audiences across 50 countries is being produced at the Stein Studios, while 2 other world-famous franchise programs, The Voice and Lakshapati, are also being produced simultaneously. Will the 2 contestants joining the 5 million money drop program this weekend be able to secure the 5 million rupees? Tune in to find out at 9 p.m. this Saturday.
News First today broke new ground in Sri Lankan news broadcasting by launching visual radio, a revolutionary new medium that combines the best of both radio and television.
ආයුබෝවන් නිවුස් ෆර්ස්ට් සවස් ප්‍රධාන ප්‍රවෘත්ති ප්‍රකාශය සමගින් මම රශ්මික පොල්පිටිය.
ආයුබෝවන් මම චතුරි පෙරේරා.
News First, the leading Sri Lankan news channel, today launched Visual Radio, a first of its kind platform that combines radio and social media. The platform allows listeners to listen to the main news on Sirius FM radio and Shakti FM and watch the related footage on News First's Facebook page. This is the first time in Sri Lanka that people have been able to listen to a radio news and watch the footage relating to that news at the same time. The platform is a major innovation in news broadcasting and is expected to revolutionize the way people watch news in Sri Lanka. Visual radio is available every day from 7 a.m., 12:30 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. on News First's Facebook page. To listen to the news, simply go to News First Facebook page and click on the Visual Radio tab.
Minister of Foreign Affairs President's Counsel Ali Sabri met with US Senator Chris Van Hollen today at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Ali Sabri posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, quote, "We had a fruitful discussion on further enhancing bilateral relations, marking the occasion of the 75th anniversary of the diplomatic relations between our 2 countries," unquote. Minister Sabri also acknowledged the support being extended to Sri Lanka by the US government in addressing the current economic challenges. The United States is to explore Sri Lanka's economic recovery during an ongoing visit by Senator Chris Van Hollen. US Ambassador to Sri Lanka Julie Chung posted on X, quote, "This week, the Senator and I will explore Sri Lanka's economic recovery, discuss avenues for enhanced partnership and deepen our joint commitment to upholding democratic ideals," unquote. She added that the Senator's unique connection to Sri Lanka, residing here when his father, Chris Van Hollen Sr., was a US ambassador from 1972 to 1976, underscores the enduring 75-year partnership between the United States and Sri Lanka.
The World Bank Group has published a roadmap for the development of offshore wind power in Sri Lanka.
The roadmap estimates that the country has a potential of 56 gigawatts of offshore wind power and identifies 2 areas where the first projects could be built. The 2 areas are located in the Gulf of Mannar, close to Mannar Island, and Puttalam, They have shallow waters suitable for fixed bottom foundations and moderate wind speeds averaging 8 to 9 meters per second. The World Bank has made 22 recommendations for the government of Sri Lanka to deliver the high growth scenario. These recommendations include setting offshore wind targets this year and preparing the first Pathfinder project by 2025. Overall, the roadmap provides a comprehensive overview of the potential of offshore wind power in Sri Lanka and steps that need to be taken to develop this resource.
Air Marshal Udeni Rajapaksa, the 19th commander of the Sri Lanka Air Force, was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
The General Sir John Kotalawala Defence University honoured Air Marshal Udeni Rajapaksa on the 25th of August by inducting him into its Hall of Fame. Air Marshal Rajapaksa is the 19th commander of the Sri Lanka Air Force and a member of Intake 6 of KDU. The induction ceremony was held at the War Heroes Monument at KDU and was attended by senior military and academic staff as well as military and civil undergraduates. A floral tribute was paid at the monument in honour of the KDU alumni who made the ultimate sacrifice for the nation. Air Marshal Rajapaksa was then inducted into the Hall of Fame by the Vice Chancellor of KDU, Major General Milinda Piris.
The Islamabad High Court has suspended the conviction of former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan on corruption charges.
However, it is unclear whether this will lead to his release from jail, as he is also facing arrest in other cases.
The former Pakistani Prime Minister was sentenced to 3 years in prison in July for unlawfully selling state gifts during his time as Prime Minister. He has filed an appeal against the conviction, and the Islamabad High Court today suspended former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan's conviction and 3-year sentence in the Toshakhana corruption case. Khan's lawyers said that the High Court's decision to suspend the sentence was a positive development. However, he said that it was still not clear whether Khan would be released from jail, as there are other court orders allowing for his arrest. The uncertainty over Khan's fate is likely to be a major political issue in Pakistan. He is a popular figure and his supporters have been protesting against his conviction. The High Court's decision is also a setback for the current government, which is led by Shehbaz Sharif.
Scientists have found an 8-centimeter long worm living in the brain of an Australian woman.
Scientists have found an 8-centimeter long worm living in the brain of an Australian woman. The worm, which is a type of roundworm called Ophidiscaris robertsi, is commonly found in carpet pythons. The woman is believed to have contracted the worm after eating native grass that had been contaminated with python feces. The woman had been suffering from a variety of symptoms including stomach pain, cough, night sweats, forgetfulness and depression. She was eventually admitted to hospital where doctors found the worm during surgery. The woman is now recovering well. This is the first time that a worm of this type has been found in a human brain. The case highlights the increased risk of diseases and infections passed from animals to humans. Dr. Sanjay Senanayake, an infectious diseases doctor at the Canberra hospital, said that the case is a warning. He said that as the human population grows, we are encroaching on animal habitats, which increases the risk of zoonotic diseases. Dr. Senanayake also said that the case is a reminder of the importance of good infectious diseases surveillance. He said that epidemiologists and governments need to be vigilant in detecting and preventing new diseases from emerging.
The 2023 Asia Cup is set to begin with the first match in Pakistan tomorrow.
Now, TV1 is the official local broadcaster for the Asia Cup 2023.
6 teams are vying for the trophy in the Asia Cup 2023, jointly hosted by Pakistan and Sri Lanka. Pakistan, India and Nepal will play in the A group, while Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Afghanistan will compete in the B group. The 15-member Sri Lankan contingent was announced today. Dasun Shanaka will captain the side, and the team includes Dimut Karunaratne, Kusal Mendes, Dhananjay De Silva and Mahesh Theekshana. The official local broadcaster of the Asia Cup 2023, TV1, are prepared to telecast all matches of the tournament on TV1 as well as on the website sirisatv.lk.
During the past 2 months, a large number of equipment was brought down to Sri Lanka to strengthen TV1's capabilities, and the team of engineers at MTV Channel Private Limited took steps to strengthen the telecast capabilities of the channel. The T20 World Cup in Australia and the World Cup qualifier are two of the largest tournaments that were held in the recent past, and we telecast both of these tournaments to audiences in Sri Lanka. The most important cricket tournament for those of us living in Asia is the Asia Cup 2023. We will be bringing this tournament to Sri Lankan audiences live. In the future too, we hope to bring to you more tournaments like this.
සජීව ලෙස ශ්‍රී ලාංකික ප්‍රේක්ෂකයන්ට ගෙනෙනවා. ඉදිරියේදීත් මේ ආකාරයේ දැවැන්ත තරංගාවලිය ඔබ වෙත ගෙනෙන්නට අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
If you experience any technical difficulties in tuning to the new and improved TV1, do not hesitate to drop a message on WhatsApp to 0777 622 44.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight.
Thank you very much for watching. Good night.